The quiet town of Canton, Massachusetts, was shattered on a cold January night in 2022. Boston police officer John O'Keefe was found unresponsive in the snow. He had suffered blunt force trauma and hypothermia. The discovery launched an investigation that would quickly turn into a complex and heartbreaking murder trial. Karen Reed, O'Keefe's girlfriend, was soon accused of striking him with her vehicle and leaving the scene. The charges against her second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene of an accident sent shockwaves through the community. The case became a tangled web of conflicting accounts, questionable evidence, and simmering accusations. The tragedy unfolded against a backdrop of love and loss. O'Keefe was a respected police officer, mourned by his colleagues and family. Red, a once trusted member of the community, now faced the fight of her life. The case quickly captured national attention, drawing in true crime enthusiasts, legal experts, and everyday citizens. The small town of Canton became the center of a media storm. The lives of those involved were thrust into the public eye, forever changed by the tragic events of that winter night. The search for truth and justice began, a long and arduous journey that would test the strength of the community and the resilience of those closest to the tragedy. The prosecution presented a narrative of a tragic accident fueled by intoxication. They alleged that Reed, under the influence of alcohol, struck O'Keefe with her vehicle and drove away, unaware of the severity of the incident. They pointed to cell phone data placing Reed at the scene and vehicle damage consistent with striking a person. The defense countered with a story of a possible cover-up and a rush to judgment. They argued that O'Keefe's injuries were potentially inflicted by someone else, suggesting foul play. They highlighted inconsistencies in police reports and questioned the handling of evidence, insinuating a concerted effort to protect individuals within the police department. The conflicting narratives created a fog of uncertainty around the case. The prosecution's version painted a picture of a tragic mistake with devastating consequences. The defense's account hinted at a darker, more sinister scenario where the truth was being obscured by those in power. The two opposing versions of events left the jury and the public grappling with conflicting information. The case became a puzzle with missing pieces, leaving many to question what truly happened on that fateful night. The search for clarity continued as the trial unfolded and the evidence was presented and dissected. The prosecution presented cell phone data placing Reed at the scene of the incident. They also showed the jury photos of damage to Reed's vehicle, which they argued was consistent with striking a person. Expert witnesses testified about the nature of O'Keefe's injuries and the potential cause of death. The defense team challenged the prosecution's evidence, highlighting what they called inconsistencies and gaps in the investigation. They questioned the reliability of the cell phone data and suggested alternative explanations for the vehicle damage. They also raised concerns about missing surveillance footage from a nearby home. The defense focused on the alleged cover-up, suggesting that key evidence was either overlooked or deliberately concealed. They pointed to the close relationship between O'Keefe and his fellow police officers, implying a potential conflict of interest in the investigation. They also questioned the thoroughness of the police work, suggesting a rush to judgment in pinning the blame on Reed. The weight of evidence, or lack thereof, became a central point of contention in the trial. Each piece of evidence was meticulously examined and debated, with both sides offering their interpretations. The jury was tasked with sifting through the conflicting information and determining the truth, a daunting task in a case filled with so much uncertainty. Section 4. A community divided. The Karen Reed murder trial became a focal point for the community of Canton. Opinions were divided, with some believing in Reed's guilt and others convinced of her innocence. The case sparked heated debates among neighbors, friends, and even strangers. The trial exposed underlying tensions within the community. The involvement of a police officer added another layer of complexity, raising questions about trust and accountability within the local law enforcement. The case became a symbol of the challenges faced by small towns grappling with high-profile crimes. The media coverage intensified the divisions within the community. News reports and social media discussions often presented polarized viewpoints, further fueling the debate and making it difficult to have nuanced conversations about the case. The trial became a spectacle, with the community watching and waiting for the outcome. The impact on the families involved was immense. Both the O'Keefe and Red families endured intense scrutiny and emotional strain. The trial brought their personal lives into the public domain, adding to their grief and suffering. The community watched as the families navigated the complex legal proceedings, hoping for resolution and closure. Section 5. The road to retrial. The first trial ended with a hung jury, unable to reach a unanimous verdict. This outcome highlighted the complexities and ambiguities of the case, leaving many questions unanswered. The mistrial paved the way for a retrial, scheduled for January 2025. The retrial promises to be an even more closely watched event. Both the prosecution and defense will have the opportunity to refine their strategies and present new evidence. The stakes are high for everyone involved as the search for justice continues. The retrial will likely bring renewed media attention and public scrutiny. The case has already become a topic of national conversation, and the retrial will undoubtedly amplify the discussions surrounding the evidence, the legal proceedings, and the potential outcomes. The retrial represents a second chance for both sides to present their case and for the justice system to reach a resolution. The community of Canton and the nation will be watching closely as the drama unfolds once again in the courtroom. The road to retrial is paved with uncertainty, but the hope for justice remains.